Hi, everyone. I'm François Jaouen. I'm Learning Experience Director and Managing Director for Japan at Ardoise. I'm basically going to spend the whole next 15 minutes giving you a demo of the product, just as so you can have almost a full learner experience. Maybe as a quick introduction, what we do at Ardoise is basically bridging the gap between learning and performance. First, by helping the learner learn, and then by making the learner upskill through practice. You'll see during the demo that our AI is playing different roles, from the role of an assessor, then a trainer, then a mentor, finally an actor and a coach. And please see how AI is playing these roles well in a great way. Now, just allow me to share my screen. And all right, here we are. So this is the welcome page of Ardoise. This is where the learner will land the first time they connect. They can see all the courses assigned to them, courses that they have completed, all the courses available in the catalog. All the courses that you see here can be either done within the platform itself, or they can be embedded within your learning management system, if that's what you like. Let's go and have a deep dive in the Give Effective Feedback course. So on the course page, well, few usual interesting informations, a quick description of the course itself, what are the learning objectives, prerequisites before taking the course, the skills that the learner will work on, and who is the course designed for.
Welcome to the course on giving effective feedback. I'm your instructor for this course. We're going to explore how to give feedback that's clear, actionable, and actually helps people improve. It'll take about 45 minutes, and you'll have a chance to try things out in a safe environment.
So this is the welcome message to set the scene. Let's have a quick look at the menu on the top left corner here. You can see in the introduction, so the welcome message that we just saw, the assess is where we will have, a pre-evaluation of the knowledge of the learner. This is what we use to then tailor the rest of the experience. In the foundation bit, you will find the different study sections. So this is where we are bringing the theoretical knowledge. We can either do that through a conversational way or using images, SCORM content, video as support, the content that you may have already. Then we have a first proof, which is a first quiz session to assess how much has been learned on the theory that we've seen so far. And finally, in the application part, we have three different phases. The first one, explore, is where the learner will be guided by the AI, playing the role of a coach, a senior leader, a pair, a senior manager, to guide them through a scenario example and give them the insights and different point of view on how they can address the scenario and getting best practices. This is to prepare them to the confirm phase, which is the role play itself that we will do at the end of the demonstration. Let's just have a quick view with one question of the assessment.
I'm going to quickly assess your current skill at giving effective feedback so the course can adapt to you. When you need to give someone corrective feedback about a problem they caused, what are the key points you would make sure to include?
So just before answering that question, we have different ways to interact with the platform. I can either type in my answers here, as I would do on any model, and I can also fully interact with voice and have a real discussion with the AI here. Let me answer that first question that, as you can see, is an open question. The key points I try to include when giving corrective feedback is concrete example and to give the feedback in a timely manner to make sure that it still makes sense, and ideally that it's fresh for the person I'm giving feedback to.
You're grounding your feedback in observable examples and paying attention to timing, which are both solid foundations. When you say concrete example, what would you actually say in the moment, word for word, to describe what happened?
All right, so as you can see from there, we are going to dig deeper and to see how much of maybe the mechanics of feedback the learner knows, how much they know on feedback methodology, for example. And through these open questions that are adjusting every time to the learner's answer, we'll assess their level of knowledge on feedback and the different concepts that we are covering in this course. Let me just show you how we manage the theory a bit. So in the study chapters, so that's the first way to do it.
Effective feedback starts with being specific. Describe the exact behavior, situation, and impact so the person knows what to repeat or change. Avoid vague labels like unprofessional or great attitude. Instead, point to observable facts of what was said, done, when, and what happened as a result. For example, as an HR manager at Ardoise, in yesterday's candidate debrief, you interrupted the hiring manager twice while they were explaining concerns.
All right, so stopping her here. Two interesting facts. So as you can see, my role now in the platform is HR manager at Ardoise. And so the example that is taken is linked to my role, my experience, and my position within the company. This will be different for every user because we will identify which company they are in and what role they have. So the example that we bring will be tailored and specific to their role. All the points here around feedback will be brought through a conversation with the AI. The second way we have to do it is, and I'll quickly switch to show you a different course, is through SCORM content. So we can embed SCORM content directly within the experience, and this is how it looks. Instead of having the AI or the avatar, you have the SCORM content here that is working as any SCORM content that you know. You keep all the interactions, the activities, and so on. And on the right, the AI is here to guide you, and you can ask some questions to get some specific answers that might not be in the SCORM content itself. So you can basically augment the SCORM content or PDF documents that you have already through the AI assistant that we have. Let's go back in our feedback course and do the role play so you can see exactly how it looks like. So we consider we've done all the study sections, the first quiz in the application, we rehearsed some scenario and got some insights, and now we can do the proper role play. Let's go.
We'll set up a one-on-one feedback scenario so you can practice structuring clear, actionable feedback. Would you like to start from a ready-made scenario or build your own?
So two options here, either we choose from existing scenarios or we build our own, leaving the learner the opportunity to create a scenario that is matching exactly their reality or a scenario they want to rehearse. Here, for the sake of timing, let's go with a pre-made scenario. We can choose within 3 different scenarios here.
Got it. Which ready-made one-on-one scenario do you want to use?
Let's go with Priya. She's polite but dismissive, keeps it moving. In team meetings, she interrupts and closes discussions. And so that's the feedback that we want to give her. And
Thanks. What difficulty do you want for the Priya meeting behavior feedback conversation? Would you like to see what you'll be assessed on before we start? You're an HR manager giving cross-functional peer feedback to Priya after multiple meetings where she interrupted others and ended discussion early, and you want to land clear examples, the impact, and a specific request for change with a concrete follow-up. Do you need any extra context about the team, the meetings, or what outcome you want before you begin? You're about to meet Priya right after a recurring weekly sync. She's in a hurry and assumes things are fine, ready to go.
right, let's go like this. And I'll do something that I haven't done so far, which is activating the avatar. So we have different ways. We can be either in full text mode. We're only in voice mode here. We can have the avatar mode that we can activate, bringing more emotions and more interactivity to the user. Let's do the role play in avatar mode.
So, you wanted to talk. What's going on? I've got a lot on my plate, so can we make this quick?
All right. So as per character, Priya doesn't have a lot of time for us. Let's go and deep dive into the role play. No, thanks, Priya. Thanks for taking a moment. I want to discuss with you some of your behaviors I've seen during a couple of meetings over the last 2 weeks. You do tend to interrupt people before they finish, which is not really feeding the discussion and not giving everyone the space to participate. So that's something I wanted to discuss with you.
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to keep the meeting from dragging. People ramble, and if I don't jump in, we lose the thread. Can you tell me a specific moment you're talking about because this feels a bit subjective?
Sure. I know you're not trying to be rude, and actually, I do value your drive to keep the meeting efficient and on point, and that's one of your strengths. To give you a concrete example, I think meetings on our current main project, you did interrupt him a couple of times. And if you don't give him, or more generally people, space to express themselves, we risk missing maybe some critical information, and we cannot build on collective intelligence. So that's why it's important to let people speak and give them space.
Okay, I hear you, but Simon was going down a rabbit hole and we were already behind. If I wait until he finishes, we burn another 10 minutes and still don't have a decision. So, what do you want me to do in the moment when someone is rambling and the meeting is slipping?
Well, I do appreciate your honesty, and to be honest, yes, sometimes Simon tends to over-explain a few things. I think it's more a matter of how then you decide to reframe or reorient the discussion. First, let him have enough time to express the main ideas. If you see it's taking too long, maybe you can go and say, for example, thanks, Simon, for giving us the detail on the budget, looking at the time, and to be sure we have time to cover everything by the end of the hour. Can we move on to the next step?
All right, that sounds reasonable, but it still feels like I'm the one being singled out when the real issue is people not being concise. If I start doing that, I'm going to sound like the meeting police and people will get annoyed anyway. Are you also planning to give feedback to Simon and the others about keeping their updates tighter?
All right, so I'm going to stop here for the role play for the sake of timing. I won't go until the end. We would give her more details, and yes, maybe we have a bit of feedback to give to Simon also. Let me move on to the the evaluation bit. Just maybe to reflect on what just happened. As you can see, we get very realistic reactions here from Priya, according to the character that we have set up for her. Not having time, being super result oriented. And so we do get really realistic discussions with a bit of pushback, which is the objective, to be sometimes a bit uncomfortable during the role play, so that when we will be having the real discussion with our team member, we will be in confidence and not uncomfortable for the first time. Let's go and see what's the evaluation looks like.
Your simulation has been reviewed and an overall.
All right, let me stop it here. So as you can see, we get an overall performance. We did stop before the end of the role play, so we're far from a perfect score, which is normal. We do get evaluation on 5 different criteria that can be modified, changed depending on the topic, on the subject of the course, of course. Here we're measuring clarity of feedback, rational relevance, responsiveness to employee concern, motivation and persuasion, and accountability and follow-up. For each of these criteria, I do get sub-criteria and a lot of details verbatim of what has been said, what were the strong points, what I did well, what was partially demonstrated or missing. So, for example, I named the behavior. I was not specific enough in the desired behavior or standard, for example. I get these criteria and sub-criteria with that level of detail and insights for each criteria. I also can see my areas of strengths, areas of improvement, and blind spots, things that were not covered at all during the role play, for example. Here again, I can get more detail on each of them. Yeah, I did stopped quite a bit short on the last bit, but thanks for your attention. I hope it gave you a good overview of what an experience with Ardoise looks like.
Fantastic, Francois. What I do love, I am so excited about voice forward applications that really that are immersive. And obviously, you can see that Paula's phrase is immersive. That's highlighted. it is what is driving learning. It's driving engagement. It makes the person sit forward. And I just got that experience, François. I've been listening to Ardoise and the platform, and thanks for that. We'll make sure we share your information as well, and appreciate the presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.